Can you tell me, what does TAL do and who do you primarily serve?
To put it simply, TAL is a life insurance company. So they provide financial protection if there are any injuries or if someone's unwell. It gives financial protection to someone's family. As a person in tech, I didn't really understand what that really meant. But being here at TAL, there's so many different avenues in tech. There's web development, there's cybersecurity, there's machine learning. And being here at TAL for a bit, especially on the tech floors, I can tell that TAL is trying to show themselves as a company as a tech company that also does life insurance. Yeah, that's what I've learned from people, managers, especially in technology.
So what got you specifically interested then in TAL's grad program and working with them?
I think what got me most interested in TAL's grad program was just the specifics of it. The 4 rotations was very interesting to me. Being in tech, there's so many different avenues to go into and so much things you learn at uni, and offering 4 different rotations was very interesting. So I remember talking about it in my interviews, just about being in different teams for every 6 months and learning so many different things. I just thought that was very beneficial in terms of where I'm at in my career.
So then what makes TAL's graduate program super unique?
I'd say the most unique thing about TAL's graduate program would be the 4 different rotations. Compared to other places, I know sometimes they do 1 year of 2 rotations or just 2 different rotations throughout 2 years. But at TAL, you can do 4 different rotations. And I think this gives a good opportunity to go into different parts and really see what you're interested in or what you're the best at. And at TAL, they also do the 4th rotation as a diverse rotation. So that would mean it would be outside of your field. So mine is tech, so it would be outside of tech. And this is somewhat daunting, not knowing exactly what you're going to do, but it's not picked randomly for you. I'm really excited to chat with other people, especially in other parts outside of tech. It also gives you that push to talk to people outside of tech and speak to different people and do just something completely out of my comfort zone. I'm really excited to do that.
What do you think is probably the number one thing that got you successfully through TAL's grad application process?
I think what successfully got me through the application process at TAL was just being really prepared. I actually remember reading through the Grad Australia reviews for TAL, and I remember one person had a review where it just said, learn the spirit, learn the values of TAL, and learn what just life insurance is. And even though I didn't have so much time to prepare for that, just knowing a little bit about what life insurance was, I think in my interview process and everything, it showed the interviewers that I was really eager for this role and I was really prepared for it.
And once you got into TAL's grad program, what did your first few days, weeks, and generally your onboarding process look like?
I can probably answer this really well as I just got through the first few weeks at TAL. But the first thing that we go through is our induction week. So we do that with all the other grads. And first you get to meet all the other grads and we get to meet the person in charge of the grads. So in this week, it starts off with a couple speeches from CEOs, not really in speech format, but we're all in a room and they get to speak to us and they go through sort of their role at TAL, their team. But I think the most beneficial thing is just their career, how they progress from coming out of uni to working in the roles that they are. And through there is team building exercises. There's exercises to get you set up with your laptop. There's exercises to meet people in your team, your rotational leader. And yeah, it's all slow, but it's a good slow where you get through everything understanding what's happening.
What is a technology graduate at TAL?
So a technology grad at TAL it's very open-ended. As in technology, there's so many different aspects of technology. And I was also confused when I started working at TAL what I would be doing. But at TAL, a technology graduate, you'll have different rotations, so you'll do different things each time. But there's opportunities to go into web development, to go into quality assurance. There'll be opportunities to go in a business analyst. There's so many opportunities at TAL to go into different parts in tech. And as a technology grad, I found that really exciting. Because right now I'm a web developer, which is what I was focused on. And you get to speak with your leader about this, about what you want to get into and everything. And he'll pick the right rotations for you. So as a technology grad, you'll just learn everything. But right now I'm a web developer, but excited to go into different parts of technology.
Can you walk me through a day in your life as a technology grad at TAL? What's that look like?
Yeah, so a day in my life right now, I'll usually wake up, I'll head to work at around 8:40. and at 8:40 I'll go straight to the kitchen. I'll open up my laptop and I'll check where I'm sitting for the day because I booked it days before and I'm really forgetful, so I'll usually forget. So I'll go to my desk and from around 8:50 to 9:30, I'll check emails, I'll plan my day, and at 9:30 I'll have my team stand-up, which is where we'll discuss with just my team what we're doing for the day, any blockers we might have, and what we did in the past days. And from there, I'll do some work till around 10:30. And right now, since I'm a grad, I'll have a meeting every day with my rotational leader. So she'll take me through a couple aspects in the team that I'm just learning, and she'll show me a couple things every day. And from there till around lunch, which is around 12 o'clock, I'll just get some work done based off what I said in the stand-up or what I've talked about with my team leader. Lunch, I'll go around somewhere in the city. It's very close to everything, so that's really good. And I'll usually catch up with sort of other grads or some people outside of work sometimes. And at around 1 o'clock to around 3 o'clock, I'd get a bit more work done. Sometimes if I've got a little less work to do, a bit more time, me and a couple other grads will go downstairs, play some ping pong for 30 minutes or so, and then do some more work, finish the day off at 5 o'clock and just go home, yeah.
What's probably the highlight of your day as a technology graduate at TAL?
I'd say the highlight of my day right now would probably be just a stand-up. I like communicating with my team, especially, and we get to do it every day at 9:30, which is good, but just saying hi to them every day, going through the work we need to do, it gives you like a good plan, organizes the day. It's the first thing I do as well, so it's good to start with that. And also, we do some games at the end of our stand-up, sometimes Spot the Difference, Hangman, something like that. Get you a bit more excited for the day, yeah. I'd say that's the highlight right now.
So how much vacation time do you get as a grad at TAL, and how are you going to spend it?
So at TAL, we get 20 days for the year, vacation time. I've just started, so I haven't really thought too much about spending it, but actually, me and my friends will probably go to New Zealand sometime end of the year. Yeah, and a couple other trips. But I do know that they also do, you can buy some leave as well. So if I have to do like a longer trip, that'll be a good time to do that, yeah.
What's probably the coolest project that you've worked on so far as a technology graduate at TAL?
So far, I haven't been here long enough to be working on projects or anything just yet. But I'd say the coolest thing that I've experienced here at TAL was in my first week. On the last day of the induction week, we had a sort of team building. Someone like external came for like team building exercises, and I just thought it was really fun. We got to like engineer building a bridge, and from there we went into sort of what that taught us as in working. And it was just really fun just to work with other grads and also the graduate cohort of the previous year. And from what I've heard, we do that actually a couple of times of the year, but that was just a really fun day. Get some free lunch and everything. But yeah, I'd say that was definitely the funnest part of my time so far.
What is your least favorite thing about working at TAL as a technology graduate?
So far, there hasn't been anything too bad, as in working right now as a tech grad. Sometimes, like in the onboarding processes, there's just a lot of time waiting for applications, which I didn't realize. So especially as a developer, you'll need a couple applications for coding, for the coding environments, and you don't get those straight away, which is fair enough, but not something I realized. So there are some times where you just have to wait for a week or so to get access to everything, but they give you sort of other things to do. Sometimes you can even look at external courses. Like I needed to brush up on Angular, which is one of the coding for front end. So I looked at some courses of that while I was waiting, but that was probably the least favorite thing right now.
As a technology graduate at TAL, what inspires you and motivates you to come into work every day?
So right now, as I've just started as a technology graduate, I think the thing that inspires me the most would be coming into work and talking to all the other graduates, especially the other technology graduates. We have quite a few. As we've all started at the same time, everyone's getting into, and we're all in different positions, everyone's getting into something which they had no idea what they're about. So I was in group, which now I've learned, which deals with superannuation claims, and we handle websites for superannuation. But just like that, I would learn from someone else about what they're doing. And this sort of inspires me to just get lots of work done and learn from the other people, and inspires me to just keep going with all the work and get ready for like next rotations after learning from people in different parts, which I can do in the future.
So what's your best piece of advice then for anyone wanting to nail the technology graduate application process at TAL?
The best piece of advice I'd give, which is probably the most cliche advice, would just to be yourself and to be honest. I remember in my application process, my interview, I was very nervous. And when I first saw like the people interviewing in the chat, in like the call, I remember the first thing I said is I'm really nervous, but at TAL, they're very helpful. They just said it's okay and everything. They calmed down my nerves. And yeah, it all went really well. Actually, the person who interviewed me is now my boss. Yeah, I think that shows that it all went well. But yeah, just be honest, I'd say.
So what's the coolest fringe benefit that you get then as a technology graduate at TAL?
The best fringe benefit, just working at TAL in general, there's a couple good ones. So one of them is the TAL reward system. So that gives you discounts on so many different shops, even groceries and so many stores. Another one would be the social club, where they organize events throughout the year, which you can go to, drinks, or sometimes they'll organize like a workshop at TAL. But I'd say the best one would just be the facilities at TAL. TAL has a gym. At TAL in Sydney, they have a gym which everyone can use for free. So that's really cool. But the best one which I've been using a lot would be in the building at TAL, there's like a room, recreational room of some sorts, but we just book it at some times during the day and we just play ping pong. They got ping pong tables and stuff. So I'd say the facilities would be the coolest thing.
What's your number one reason why you would encourage other future students and grads to apply to the technology graduate program at TAL?
The number one reason I tell other grads to come work at TAL would just be due to the culture. I learned straight away just in our induction week from meetings from CEOs that the cultures are just really open. I was actually really surprised to hear like the CEOs, even the CEO of TAL, there's no offices, like he just sits on the same floor as everyone else. And I just thought it wasn't true, but I remember I'm just going for lunch and I can see all the CEOs just there talking and they're always free and open to talk with others. There's also like opportunities to do a day in the life with them where you can follow them around in some sort throughout the day. But just the culture, just getting along with everyone's really lovely, everyone's really nice. And I'd say that's probably the number one reason to join TAL.